Well, with us this morning to review today's papers are broadcaster and journalist Thomas Copeland and anthropologist Mary-Anne O'Hotter. Good to see you both again. Thanks so much. Let's start with the front page of the Mirror, Mary-Anne, if I may. There's been a lot of talk about Therese coffee, I should say. Therese coffee and turnips. Tell us more.
Yes, let them eat turnips. If you can't find cucumbers or tomatoes in the shop, which you might not be able to find, or if you do, they'll be pretty expensive. Therese Coffey has said, well, we should be eating more turnips. We should cherish what we do well in Britain, which is obviously growing turnips, perhaps not so much eating turnips. Comically, turnips have now had a bit of a run on them, so you might not find turnips in the shops either. Quite delicious.
Go on, carry on, sorry.
They're all right. Yeah, they're all right. I mean, they're not the same as eating a salad, but they're pretty good on their own terms.
I mean, in my opinion, it really is the world's most boring vegetable. But that said, we do have an abundance of them. Thomas, what do you make of the fact that politicians are coming out with lines like this? Do you think it's a good thing, or is it slightly odd?
Well, I mean, it's a politically silly thing to do ever to name one specific vegetable towards which you recommend the public in the context of a food shortage, because invariably you will then be bombarded on social media with pictures of shelves lacking that one particular food. I think it's a pretty rookie error, and somebody as senior as an environmental secretary could have probably avoided that one. I mean, listen, it's one of these stories where ultimately, and actually Mary-Anne's made a really good point there, it's less about shortages and more about prices, and feeds into a much wider problem to do with, cost of living and how much cheaper junk food is and bad food is, as compared to the kind of healthy food that we want to encourage people to eat. So it's probably, and again, in the context of Brexit, we were talking about it in the last hour and we'll talk about in the next hour again. These are the kind of really difficult things that have been a consequence of Brexit inside the Mirror, and I encourage people to read it. It goes through really nicely, actually, all the different reasons for some of these shortages to do with higher costs. We've had some bad weather. The cost of homegrown food has gone up. Fuel is through the roof. Fertilizer is through the roof in terms of prices. And also Brexit means that European suppliers are less likely to want to send their food over this side of the English Channel. And that means that it's, either you're faced with shortages or you're faced with much higher prices. And that's what consumers have to put up with on top of all the other increasing costs that they're facing at the moment. OK,
Thomas, I am calling time on turnips. That's enough turnip chat for the morning. Mary-Anne, let's jump ahead to page 19 of the Times. Laura, who's in my ear this morning, has been saying, let's do the pig story. No, it's actually a pug story. Moonpig, though, yeah. The card maker Moonpig has withdrawn cards featuring pugs, not pigs. Explain why.
Yeah. Yes, it's easy to misread that, but it is pugs, the breed of dog with the short, flat faces and the bulgy eyes. Some people think they're super cute. Other people go, that is exactly human folly translated into animal cruelty, because this particular breed of dog is 54 times more likely to have obstructed airway disorders because of the way that we've bred them. Really short in the leg, bulging eyes, like those kind of classic pug features and French bulldog features as well have got more and more enhanced as we've bred them, even since Victorian times. So Queen Victoria had pugs, but they were kind of longer snouted, longer limbed, and therefore healthier than what you would get now if you bought a pedigree pug. So PETA, the animal welfare charity, have been lobbying Moonpig, the card manufacturers, to say, please stop putting pugs on the fronts of greetings cards because they're cute and people like sending them, because it's enabling more animal cruelty. It's making this seem normal. It's making it seem desirable. People want to own pugs, therefore people breed pugs, and the pugs are the ones who suffer. So Moonpig have gone, yeah, all right, fair enough. We're not going to design any more cards with pugs on. We're not going to source any more cards with pugs on, or French bulldogs. And PETA say this is just the start. They're going to kind of approach other card companies to follow suit. And the broader question is how we as a society take our responsibilities for the pets that we keep. Bearing in mind that Austria, Germany, the Netherlands and Norway have all put breeding restrictions on animals, on dog breeds that are considered to be basically not able to live a quality of life because of the way that we've bred them.
OK, Thomas, it's probably a bit too risky to try and introduce another story with the time we've got left, I'm afraid. So a quick thought from you on pugs.
Well, I confess, notwithstanding the number of pugs that I clearly see on the front of greeting cards, I've never found them particularly cute. And as a direct consequence, maybe that'll lose me some of my many, many online fans. But I think that, as a consequence of the way that they've been bred, they have a rather frustrating breathing pattern that annoys me as they pass in the street. That's definitely, I don't know why somebody's going to attack me online for that, but I broadly agree. Actually, this is really unhealthy for dogs, and it does nothing for humans. And there's a great many ways in which cruelty is dealt on to animals, and there's justifiable in some ways reasons for doing it, because we need meat in which to live, and the way in which our society operates requires some of that. Pugs is not one of them. We can definitely live without breeding pugs in this way.
Thomas, Mary-Anne, great to see you both. See you again in the next hour. Thanks so much for that. And we'll have all the news at the top of the hour, including all the latest on Ukraine. Stay with us.